Hi, and welcome to Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your co-hostess for the mostest, Drusilla Adeline. How are you doing this week, Josh?
This is like delicious dish NPR voice. I'm good. Everything's fine. I was just telling you that my dog needs a little surgery, so I'm stressed out about that.
Poor sweet Edie. I will only be speaking this voice for the rest of the episode. I'm sorry. Apologies to listeners. It's going to be annoying. Edie, I'm so sorry. My sweet darling baby.
I know, she's an Italian Greyhound, so she's gonna have a cast on her skinny little leg and need physical therapy and stuff like that, so it's a little stressful.
She's had such an adventurous life. I mean...
Yeah, she's 4 years old, she's never left my house, but sure.
That's what I'm saying. She's about to...
That's not true.
She's about to develop a personality.
She actually really hates to travel. She's been to Malibu. She's been to Lake Tahoe at Christmas. She's been to Idlewild. She hated it all. All she wants is to sit on a pillow and be comfy. She hates wind. She hates temperatures. She hates noises. She hates lights. She's a very sensitive girl who just wants to wear a sweater and sit on a pillow. And so I guess she'll probably be fine with the cast.
Yeah. She'll be fine. I mean, in the same way that me recovering after surgery was, oh no, I have to lay around and watch movies. Oh, Lord, oh no. Yeah, I think she'll be okay. Her favorite thing is to lay around with her dad as he reads books, so I think you're fine.
Yeah. How are you? What's up?
I'm doing well. I'm having a fun time, good times out here in the Los Angeles. I, last night, attended a very Los Angeles event. Which was a pop-up, quote-unquote, escape room to promote the latest Knives Out film, Glass Onion, by Rian Johnson.
Which we stan.
That movie's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And to the listeners listening, it is out and on. You can just go watch it on Netflix right now if you haven't fucking seen it. Go watch it. It is incredible. From the before times at which we're recording, only a select few who saw it in theaters in November have seen it, i.e. Josh and I. The weirdos. But they did a little pop-up to get people excited for the theatrical re-release a month late. Netflix releases are insane.
What is happening in the world?
I don't understand it. But
Why
they
did you say quote-unquote escape room?
It was billed as an escape room. And it was like, come in and test your investigative talents. And so my friend Karen Hahn, friend of the show, the writer of Dissident Cinema, the Bong Joon-ho, great book on his films, and her boyfriend Brian Gilbert. We went to, and some friends, we went to Melrose in Fairfax, to where there's a little pop-up, because that is pop-up country in Los Angeles. And everyone who's working there is in a nice, like, blue and white striped shirt with a little yellow ascot, mimicking Daniel Craig's wardrobe from the movie. And then they guide you inside, where there's a lush, like, entry lounge area to look like the pool set from the film. There's a mini car full of, like, booze, and there's a little bar where they have cocktails and mocktails. And little photo ops, and then you get a big, chunky, clear wristband that, like, lights up when you're ready to go into the, like, maze escape room thing. And I love an escape room. I don't know if listeners know this. I love a puzzle. I love a challenge. I love a mystery. I like Legos. I like shit like that. It's one of my nerdiest, stupidest obsessions. I'm super into stuff like that. And my friend Karen had never done an escape room, but a lot of the rest of us in the group had, so we're like, this is going to be a blast. Like, it's Knives Out, it's Glass Onion, and it's an escape room. This is going to be so much fun. It was 3 rooms, each with one puzzle in each. You had about 30 seconds to solve each puzzle. And then it was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Because it was Netflix. It's a marketing pop-up. So we shouldn't have been expected. But it was so much fun. The production design was so great. They, like, built, like, different big rooms from the film and then guided us through We did not succeed in solving the first room's puzzle. So 2 members of our group died, quote unquote.
Wait. You're making fun of this event and you didn't even solve the puzzle?
Wait a minute. Yes, I am. Well, because they gave us like no time. They gave us like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
And 2 members of our group died, and they had to go off into a different room where they were maybe still a part of the game. And then we were shepherded into our second room where there was another puzzle, which we also didn't pass, which we also failed. And then another member of our team died. I somehow survived into our final room, which was the big banquet dining room set from the film, complete with long table, perfectly set and dressed, all the artwork on the walls, down to the like suit of armor with a crossbow in the corner. Like, it was spot on. We solved that one. We solved the final one, and then we got to take nice little photo ops throughout, and we left with yellow knives out, yellow glass onion designed bandanas.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was very cute. And so in West Hollywood, they passed out yellow Netflix bandanas to us. So what I'm hearing is that Netflix is promoting water sports.
Yeah, we love hanky code.
We love hanky code.
Services.
I mean, now that we know that Benoit Blanc is canonically a gay man, as played by Daniel Craig.
Yes. Which we love. I really hope we get more Hugh Grant in future films, his gay partner.
Please! They're such a delight together. He really hit the jackpot. It only makes sense that, of course, Benoit Blanc would be following hanky code.
Yeah. Well, so that is like sparked my imagination. So let's think of the streaming services in terms of like what color hanky they would wear. So if Netflix is into piss play, what is HBO Max into? I feel like HBO Max is into...
HBO Max loves to take their content off of their service.
Yes.
So there's...
What's like a withholding fetish or like I guess like a sadomasochism?
Yeah, that's more BDSM, if anything.
Yeah. HBO Max is a cruel master.
Well and truly, because we keep coming back for more.
I think Peacock likes to be walked on and likes to be like, like little pig boy and stuff like that. Like humiliated.
Oh
humiliation
my God.
play.
And then Hulu is so vanilla.
Hulu's so vanilla.
Yeah.
It's like missionary only. Shudder, of course, is into blood.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Well, obviously. The Criterion channel is the one that I want to know about.
Ooh, I bet Criterion is nasty, filthy, wild.
Look at the movies on there. You've got like Houseu and like Empire of Passion. Come on. In the realm of the senses, there's they're into, honestly, they're flying every hanky flag.
Totally. Disney Plus is an adult baby. You're like changing Disney Plus's diaper and feeding them a bottle. Oh my God, we're gonna get sued and just like destroyed.
Oh my God. What streaming service is about you who are your kings? Oh my God.
Speaking of streaming services, I have been watching a terrific new show that is on... Fuck, what is it? Oh, it's on Hulu. It's on our missionary Hulu. And it's called Fleishman is in Trouble. And I love it so much. And it's totally not a show I ever thought I would like. But it's the show that stars Jesse Eisenberg and Lizzie Kaplan as 40-something Jews in Manhattan and their, like, marriage trouble. But it's so funny and touching and really smartly written, beautiful dialogue, really well acted, really well directed. And I'm just, like, crazy about it. And it's making me really miss New York. And the characters are writers and it's based on a book. So it's kind of got all of that going on. And it just, I don't know.
I love Lizzie Kaplan. I need to watch it. I have heard about it. I've seen the key art, which is very, very gorgeous. And I've seen the trailers for it. I haven't watched it yet, only because I don't like Jesse Eisenberg.
I never really cared for him either, but I do like him in this.
Much of this and much what I've seen of it gives me like big Woody Allen vibes in a way that I'm like, I don't know if I want that.
Yes. So I have to say, and this is not to be cool, this is just the truth. I've never seen a Woody Allen movie because footage of him when I was a little kid made me annoyed.
Yeah, that's
So it's
correct.
I don't want to see any of these movies.
I was raised by a mother who, like, when we would go to Blockbuster together and she would see any Woody Allen movie on the shelf, she'd be like, ugh, no. Which, correct. I love you, Patricia, for that. That is correct.
Yeah.
I was a fucking, like, rebellious little fucking teenager, and so when I was in high school and college, I was like, I'm gonna, like, see what all these are about. And I've seen, like, most Woody Allen movies now. Unfortunately. And you know what? There's some that I like that are like good and fine. But even those I look back and I'm like, Hannah and Her Sisters is great, but it's about this man cheating on his wife by having sex with her sister and then never telling his wife about it. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, you're definitely correct. I mean, this is about very privileged Jewish people on the Upper East Side being dissatisfied with their marriages and lives and all that sort of stuff. So your mileage for that may vary, but it's very well written and very well acted. Lizzie Kaplan is the narrator of the show for reasons that I haven't discovered yet, but I'm sure will pay off in some clever way. But it's really, really great. And I brought it up because it reminds me of the movie we're talking about today in some ways, not directly, but thematically.
I can understand that.
So does the movie that I saw last night. I finally saw The Menu.
How was The Menu? I still haven't seen it yet. I've been waiting to do a double feature of The Menu and Bones and All.
Yeah, I really want to see Bones and All still. The Menu is good. I liked it. It's very funny, really funny dialogue, great performances. I don't think it's a very sophisticated or smart movie, and I've seen people... I saw someone say it was like a dumb version of Triangle of Sadness. Which, I mean, they do have some of the same themes and stuff and tackle some of the same issues, but I don't think that's a very charitable comparison because they're just very different things, you know? One's a commercial studio film, one's like an art house auteur thing, and I just don't think that's very fair. I will say I don't think The Menu has anything to say, really, or have any, like, ideas at all, but that's okay. I mean, it's funny, and it's a good way to spend an hour and a half, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to see it. I'm excited for it. I've been watching a lot of good stuff, but I really want to talk about a movie that I saw months ago that I'm only now able to talk about because it's out, it's in theaters, and it's on HBO Max, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year.
Ooh.
It is The Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, I really want to see this. I love that playwright.
It is Martin McDonagh's best film. By a long, I haven't actively hated Three Billboards,
which I never saw.
It's fucking bad, in my opinion. Some people really liked it. It got a lot of Oscar buzz, and that irritated the shit out of me. I thought Seven Psychopaths was like cute but super forgettable, and I thought In Bruges was like good but overhyped. Banshees of Inisherin is like he's back to his playwriting roots. It is. So gorgeous. It is set on a very small island in Ireland during the Irish Civil War. The island is so small that it's like separated from the Irish Civil War, so they're just like hearing gunfire off in the distance on occasion and being like, wonder what that's about. And it stars Colin Farrell as like a simple man who lives on the island with his pet donkey Jenny and his sister. And his best friend is played by Brendan Gleeson, also from In Bruges. And Brendan Gleeson decides one day that he doesn't want to be friends with Colin Farrell anymore. And Colin Farrell does not understand this. They've been friends forever. There's like super tiny island. Like, what do you mean you don't want to be friends with me? And he's like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. So just like leave me alone. Like, and everyone on the town is like, why are you being so mean to Colin Farrell? Just go get a beer with him. What's wrong with you? And he's like, I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. And he tells Colin Farrell that if you don't stop leaving me alone, I will chop off one of my fingers and leave it on your doorstep if you do not stop leaving me alone. I swear to God. And everyone's like, just leave him alone, Colin. Like, just back off. It's not worth it. And Barry Keoghan from
Killing of a Sacred
Deer and The Batman plays who Colin Farrell believes to be the town idiot, the son of the police chief, who's kind of like, I don't know, you should go see him. Go see if he really will chop his finger off. I don't know. Find out. It is so funny. It is maybe the funniest film I've seen of the year, while also being so sweet, so tender, so emotional, so much about really heavy existential concepts of the human condition and of life and death and of aging and of the way we relate to other people. And it could so easily be so heavy and depressing and like Ingmar Bergman level of like great and powerful and profound, but like, good God. But it is so bright and beautiful and hopeful and funny and effervescent. And when like fucked up things happen and sad things happen, it still like manages to find hope and humor and heart and all of those things. And it is such a goddamn delight, while still also being like really acerbic and biting and cynical and mean. And Colin Farrell does so much with his eyebrows alone and his performance in this movie to just convey like the most beautiful empathy I've seen in a long time. I am dying to do a double feature of this and With Nell and I.
Ooh.
I cannot wait. I really, really, really am excited to watch this again and show it to all my friends around the holidays. It is so funny and fucked up and uplifting, and I adore it so much, and I hope everyone goes and sees it now that it's on HBO Max.
Colin Farrell has aged into such a great actor. And not that he wasn't great when he was young and hot and a big movie star, but I don't know, he just makes such good choices, from like Yorgos Lanthimos to stuff like this. I mean, he's just so good.
He's incredible. Him playing the Penguin in the Batman is
incredible.
Well, it's also like he found sobriety a few years ago. He did an Actors on Actors with Jamie Lee Curtis recently, and they spent the entire time focusing on that. And he also mentioned how much he loves and cares about the Fright Night remake that he did, because he's both very proud of it, and he loves the original, he loves the genre, he loves all of that, but also because working on that movie, the producers set his mother up with her now husband.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it's just like, he's incredible and so touching, and like, I love that he loves that part of his career. I love that he is like nourishing the art house part of his career, and the performances that he gives in Banshees and The Batman and
The Lobster. He's so good.
They're
in The Lobster.
Also radically different and also incredible and touching, and he really has like quietly become one of the best English speaking actors in the past 10 years. Like,
yeah, he rules.
He's incredible. I highly recommend Banshees of Inisherin. I think you're gonna love it, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a Martin McDonagh movie, to be honest, because I have a background in theater, so I've read his plays, and they're always like the something of something. So like The Cripple of Inishmore, The Beauty Queen of Leenane, and they're all so funny and dark and weirdly violent, but also beautiful and sweet. And it sounds like it's in that vein.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch that this weekend. Well, we've been talking a lot about fancy pants class stuff in a weird way. So let's talk about the movie. This is a movie from the year 2000, directed by Mary Harron, adapted from the novel by Bret Easton Ellis. It is, of course, American Psycho.
New card. What do you think? Whoa, very nice.
Patrick, you're so sweet.
Jean?
Yes, Patrick?
Would you like to accompany me to dinner? Sabrina, why don't you dance a little? Christy, get down on your knees. We're not through yet. That's a wonderful suit. You look so soft. I don't think I can control myself if you stay. something bad will happen. I feel lethal, on the verge of frenzy. I think my mask of sanity is about to slip.
Now, I read American Psycho in high school, I think, and saw this when it came out when I was in college in the year 2000. And I really liked it. But I rewatched this and talked about it actually on the show. It was during our Chelsea Stardust episode talking about
Yes, you did.
Crash and how much I loved this when I rewatched it. So I wanted to do it for the show. I love this movie. It's a 5-star movie for me. I don't know how you feel about this movie, though.
This is a movie that, so we are from different age demographics, so only by a little bit.
By
but
15
this movie,
years or so, but it is counting.
Fuck off. So by the time I was young when this movie came out, so
Yeah.
I obviously did not see it in theaters. And by the time that I got around to seeing it, it had already been out for over a decade.
Yeah.
And so it had developed a cult status. Christian Bale had developed a cult status. He had become Batman and was a huge deal. People really weren't reading or talking about Bret Easton Ellis anymore, other than, doesn't he kind of suck?
Yeah.
So it was mostly known for that, and it was slowly being picked up by the internet and turned into memes, which
Yeah.
is primarily what this movie is seen as culturally at this point. I saw it when I was in high school because a bunch of friends of mine were like, "You need to watch this movie. It's fucking crazy. It's so weird. It's so insane. Like, dude, holy shit, this movie." So this was one that was like passed around on like cheapo DVDs between friends for years. That was like a staple of like late night sleepovers and hangouts. Because the music's great, it looks gorgeous, it's super weird, and it has one of the biggest casts in the world. And so I just always remembered it as a very like adolescent movie. In my mind, it occupied the same space as like Freddy Got Fingered and
Wow.
and like Airheads and like Super Troopers and like in a weird way Videodrome and like movies that I watched a lot when I was a teenage boy. Yeah, like to a degree. The Uwe Boll movie, Postal, like they all kind of like mesh together in this weird way in my head. But it's so gorgeously made, and Mary Harron is like, and the screenwriter of this movie, Genevieve Turner, who's an incredible writer and director in her own right, and I know her primarily as an actress from The Watermelon Woman.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She also wrote Go Fish.
Yeah,
she is
yeah.
like lesbian
Legit.
icon of the 90s. And the fact that you have these two women coming together to adapt this incredibly masculine male macho Bret Easton Ellis novel about a very certain kind of men and a very certain kind of era in the 1980s is incredible and really, really, really great. And I feel like this movie has been like oft imitated in recent years.
Yeah.
In films like, I mean, a lot of TV shows, and also in movies like Promising Young Woman, and some other films like that just never hit the same mark that this hits. I don't know. This, like, you know, it's still cheesy and it's still weird, and I don't know if the ending works as well for me now as it did when I was like 15.
I love the ending. Okay.
But it is still so much goddamn fun, and it is still so very sharp,
really
and acerbic.
funny, really funny.
Yeah,
it walks a tonal tightrope that is so narrow, and it never falters. Like I actually I don't know how you feel about Promising Young Woman. I know a lot of people really hated it. I
hated it.
Absolutely loved it, but I thought
fucking hate that movie.
The tone was not as consistent as this tone is. This movie for me doesn't falter. It's a perfect book to film adaptation. So plot-wise, if in case you don't know, but I'm sure you do, this is a slice of life, so to speak, of a man named Patrick Bateman, who is a Wall Street guy by day and a serial killer of women by night. We are living this movie through his internal monologue, which is demented and amazing. And that's kind of it. We're following him as he quickly unravels over a period of weeks and being investigated. And that's it. I mean, yeah, it stars Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman, who is absolutely brilliant in this. I think it's probably his best role for my money.
Yeah.
The cast is really stacked. You've got Reese Witherspoon, you've got Chloe Sevigny, you've got Willem Dafoe, you've got Justin Theroux. You could go on.
You get Jared Leto being murdered.
Jared Leto being killed with an axe while Genesis plays. It's such a good movie. I think Patrick Bateman is such a great character, both of literature and of film. I think even if he weren't a psycho killer, he would be one of the most detestable people.
Yeah.
It's said in the 80s, we've said that the 80s, of course, had great music, none of which is in this movie because Patrick Bateman's taste is so terrible that all you get is like Genesis and Phil Collins and Whitney Houston. And so I don't know.
You know what? Okay. All right. I'm going to, and I can't believe this sentence is coming out of my mouth. I'm going to come to the defense of Patrick Bateman.
Okay, great. Hit me with this.
Phil Collins, Genesis, Whitney Houston, oh god, Hate to Be Square. Huey Lewis are like great. I'm sorry. They were like big mass populace, like
they were dorky bands, and that's fine, and I have some affection.
Yeah, and that's like the point of their use in this, that he's like not into them because of any like inherent like artistic value that he connects with as music. He's only listening to them because that's what's on the chart and that's what he's being told to listen to and to like. However, like, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, those songs are good. Those bands are good. Yeah. Like, he likes them for the wrong reasons, yes, and that is why they're in here. However, like, dude, I love Phil Collins. Fucking love Huey Lewis.
Fair. I love when he's like, when he tells the detective that he doesn't like Huey Lewis because it's, quote, too black sounding, which is like so demented to think about. Well, let's start at the beginning. So we open with infamously/famously Patrick Bateman's morning routine and his interior monologue about it, which is so crazy and hilarious. And he's like, I do 1,000 crunches. I use a facial wash with little to no alcohol because it dries the skin. And he's just,
which inadvertently like just reads as like most male TikToks.
Exactly.
The past few years.
You are so right. You are absolutely
horrifying.
Right about that. Oh my god. He's like, if I get up and my eyes are a little puffy, I'll do an ice mask while I do my sit-ups. And it's all just like in this NPR voice like we talked about, like we were doing earlier. And you just learn right away that he's a crazy person who only cares about things that can be seen. He even says right at the top, Patrick Bateman is an idea of a person. And so all that matters is what you see. There is nothing inside. And it's chilling, but also really funny and just so perfectly written.
And we go from that and eventually get such bombastic gore and set pieces in this movie. I mean, obviously, the Hit to Be Square axe.
Jared Leto murder
is very famous. It's very talked about. But also, we have the nude chainsaw drop,
which is such a heartbreaking one, actually. So Patrick Bateman in particular picks on sex workers, and that woman is so good. I don't know who that actress is. I feel like if a man had directed this, a very different sort of actress would have been cast. But she's so quiet and vulnerable, and he's actually paid her before and really hurt her, and so she's hesitant to come back. And you're just like, it's actually a really gut-wrenching scene when
it's really hard to watch.
Decides to go back to him. Yes, and he does chase her with a chainsaw and then drops it from a great height, killing her.
It's really, really heartbreaking. The other thing that I was thinking about rewatching this movie, which made it a lot harder to watch this time around, because again, it had always been one that, like, in my youth had been like, this movie's so funny and so weird and so gross. Let's have a lot of hoot and let's have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Since then, I have, like, inadvertently through my travels, learned more about, like, actual serial killers from this era. Specifically, there was a serial killer in my hometown of Carmel, Indiana, who operated from the late 1980s, from about 1986 until 1995. Until 1996, until a little after my birth. And he was, like, a well-off businessman who owned his own insurance company in Indianapolis, Indiana. He had a, like, multi-acre home on technically, it was called a farm in Carmel, Indiana. There's no farms in Carmel. It's just, like, a large lot of land.
Okay.
Gorgeous house with, like, an indoor pool as a separate building with, like, an apartment above it. That was, like, all his, wife, 2 kids, and every night, or, you know, not every night, but frequently, he would get off of work, he would drive into downtown Indianapolis or into Broad Ripple, and other parts of the, like, metropolitan part of the city, go to gay bars, find young gay men, take them back to his large farm, specifically to the detached indoor pool, and murder them mid-sex, and then bury their bodies on the grounds of his multi-acre home. This went on for almost 10 years. People in the gay community in Indiana started to pick up on this guy, started to realize that their friends were going missing, and started reporting that. No one listened and cared.
Right.
They started recognizing that, oh, my friend left with that guy, and now my friend is missing, and now I'm seeing him at the club, and they, like, followed him out, wrote down his license plate, gave it to the cops, and the cops were like, you don't have any proof, we don't care if some fags are dying, sorry.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, in late 1995, early 1996, the police went to look into the finances of his insurance company because they were suspecting a certain degree of fraud or tax evasion. And they, like, went to his house to go talk to him. He wasn't there. His wife answered. And she was like, oh, he'll be back later. Like, I'll let him know. Fine, whatever. And when he got back later that evening, she was like, oh, hey, some police came looking for you. And so he was like, oh, cool, fine, whatever. And he left in the middle of the night, left a note on the dresser, drove up to Canada, and committed suicide.
Oh my gosh.
The note said nothing about the people he killed. It was just,
Who is
like...
this person?
I don't want to say his name, I don't want to give him power. You can look into him, just Google, like... Carmel, Indiana, like, serial killer. And he left basically a suicide note being like, hey, I love my family, whatever. Super vague. And because he fled, the police got a warrant to search the premises, and they just started finding bodies.
That's so interesting. I grew up in Washington where we had the Green River Killer, who was in operation from the 70s to the 2000s. But so it's, like, always kind of in the background. And it is truly an awful thing. You know, like, I'm not especially interested in watching Dahmer on Netflix or
God, no.
Things like that. It's a tricky thing. There's a lot of hand-wringing about people's interest in true crime these days, for instance. And I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. I do understand the need for sensitivity, but I also think there's probably something that's just human nature about our interest in this sort of stuff.
There absolutely is, and I also think it's very important to be aware of this stuff and to be studying this stuff and to see, like, the patterns of behavior and of the way that the system fails the victims of these things and the communities around that are targeted by this. Because almost routinely, every kind of serial killer is going to be targeting a marginalized community, whether it is
Yes.
sex workers, whether it is women,
gays.
underage people, homosexuals,
Yep.
African American or Asian or people of non-white descent. Like,
Totally. Do you know what's interesting? Thanks for tuning in, Murderinos. You're listening to my favorite murder. No, I years ago was working on a TV show, and I was in Canada filming, and they have they have drivers that drive you to set and to the hotels and stuff, to your hotel. And my driver at that time was a grad student studying forensic psychology, and I had been watching that show Mindhunter on Netflix at the time.
oh yeah,
So I brought that up, and I brought the idea of like profiling, and he said something to me, which I think about all the time when I watch these sorts of things. And he said, actually, we don't study that because it's bunk science. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, the United States is the only country on earth that does profiling because there's no data on it, and it's not proven science. And it's just made up. It's made up. Isn't that wild? It's not funny. I'm just laughing because it's just shocking.
that's insane. However, we're also the country with the most serial killers.
Well, there you go. I don't know how to get back on the topic of American
Horrifying.
Psycho.
I mean, I only brought that up as like watching American Psycho after knowing more about like successful, affluent,
Yeah.
cis het presenting white men in America in the 1980s who were doing this and like actively getting away with it, being protected by these exact same systems of power that isolate and protect Patrick Bateman through this whole thing. It's right on the money. Like,
what I think is interesting about this too, and what makes the movie better even, is that Patrick and his friends are liberals. They're not Republicans. They're not Reaganites. They don't like Reagan. Patrick is at a dinner and he's saying, we need to end apartheid. We need to feed and house the homeless. We need to teach young people to be less materialistic. And one of his cynical friends laughs at him, of course, because it's preposterous. But I just thought that was such a good choice. I don't remember if that's in the book or
it's
not.
a great choice. I haven't read the book. I wouldn't know. However, I think it's a great way of, again, demonstrating that he holds no values, but he has learned to parrot back what is expected of something to get people's guards down. Again, not to keep pulling it back into horrifying real life things, but the shooter of at the gay club in Colorado recently was as soon as he was arrested, tried to claim that he was non-binary and used they them pronouns, so this couldn't be a hate crime. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to use and parrot back talking points to like soften the blow and to like gain sympathy and to lower people's guards, and also to troll the kind of communities that they are already inflicting violence on and only inflicting more lasting violence on. I mean, thankfully that was thrown the fuck out and no one fucking bought it for a second.
Totally.
But it's the exact same thing. I mean, the
the
other end of that in American Psycho is that, like, don't fucking always trust people just because they're quoting what you want to hear. Like, look into their fucking actions, guys.
That novelist, I think her name is Gretchen Falker. She wrote the novel Manhunter. She's, I believe, a trans horror novelist.
She's a trans writer, yes.
Yeah, and she was like, he is not non-binary. Use your brains, idiots. And I was just like, oh, thank God. Like, I thought I was going to lose my fucking mind. Because I did see people being like, even though he's a murderer, you shouldn't misgender him. Which is, I guess, true. But it's like, can we just please prioritize these issues? And I think that there is something that we've talked about before, or at least I've talked about on the show, where it's wonderful that we are trying to make the world a kinder, more inclusive place. But unfortunately, a thing that can happen is that there are bad faith actors who will take the language of mental health or social justice movements and then twist it to, fuel their own narcissism or their own nefarious ends, which is what Patrick Bateman is doing.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's the same way that everyone's like, oh my god, like, Caitlyn Jenner is so incredible and brave because she's a trans woman who came out and transitioned. Awesome. And it's like, well, she's also a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And a horrible person and a murderer. And just happens to be super wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was able to publicly transition and have a lot of procedures done in a way that she was able to afford to. Great. Most people don't have that. And you can't judge her on this one aspect of her character. Look at who she is as a person. Like, great, cool. I love that you're being supportive of trans individuals. Maybe be supportive of, like, good people who also happen to be trans individuals.
Yeah.
These are different things.
Yeah, it's a bit like, what was the name of that movie a couple of years ago about the women at Fox News and sexual harassment charges?
Bombshell.
I didn't see that movie, but I thought...
I didn't see it either.
How odd, because... sexual harassment in the workplace is, of course, not okay, but they also work at Fox News. And so part of me was a little bit like, it's like making a Star Wars movie about sexual harassment on the Death Star. Like, where do you think you work? Like, let's prioritize the evils in this scenario.
Yeah. It's the same thing as the people who are like, it's not okay to punch a Nazi, then you're just as bad as the Nazi. And it's like, no.
I don't care about punching a Nazi. I'm sorry, I just don't care.
Fucking punch Nazis, do it.
I know that you're going to disagree with this, but at some point somebody came at me because I have a habit of saying the word sociopath as like a pejorative, like, oh, she's a sociopath. And someone was like, you shouldn't say that. That's ableist. And I was like, I was half joking, but I half meant it. It's like, I don't have time to worry about the only people who just truly don't have feelings. Like, that's like their one characteristic.
I will say, as someone who was raised in a household with someone who has been diagnosed as a sociopath, and much of the worst parts of my life have come from having to live with, be related to, and interact with someone who is actively, like, medically, legally a sociopath. Fucking call people a sociopath. That's not ableist. Fuck sociopaths. They're actively the worst people on the earth. That's like the whole thing.
I mean, somebody also said that about saying the word idiot, and I was at the table with them, and I was like, I'm just going to look this up really quick, because they're like, it's a medical term, so you shouldn't use it like that. And it turns out that is a medical term from the Victorian era to describe people who scored low on the then brand new IQ test, which has now been debunked, of course. So it's like, no one uses the word idiot that way. If the contemporary understanding of a word or definition of a word is the actual definition, not the literal definition. The way that people understand the word is what matters. And no one uses idiot. No one's thinking of like a mentally disabled person when they say idiot. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and when you're calling someone a sociopath, you're not saying that, oh my god, you have a mental thing. You're comparing them to a person
who's bad,
who displays a lack of empathy, and therefore commits, upsetting actions to other individuals. It's a critique of behavior. Like, I know multiple mental health professionals who would say the same fucking thing.
Is this like the Joe Rogan show? All of a sudden, like, we're coming for, like, the woke mob is trying to ruin American Psycho. That's not what this is about. We're both just really tired.
We are the woke mob. We've just had too much Mountain Dew.
Mob. Yeah.
I've had too much Mountain Dew fruitcake. Sorry.
Oh my god, is that it? That is what that is that you're drinking.
That is what that is that I'm drinking.
Oh my gosh.
This episode on American Psycho, serial killers, and mental health illness and woke mobs brought to you by Mountain Dew. Fruitquake.
There's a running theme through this movie where people mistake each other, which speaks to everyone's like sort of insincerity and narcissism and disconnection. So Patrick Bateman kills another investment banker named Paul Allen, and then frames it so that it looks like Paul Allen has gone to London on business and disappeared. But there are people who think that Patrick Bateman is Paul Allen, and some people think his name is Marcus Haberdasher or something. You know what I mean? So it's like everyone's mistaking him for other people in an interesting way. And
they also do a really good job in the casting and the costuming of all of the actors. That, again, you have very distinct different actors of Justin Theroux and Jared Leto and Christian Bale as their lead, but they are all styled to look like the same man.
They're all, and he even says it at some point, like, I can see why he mistook me for Marcus, because Marcus also wears Valentino's suits and Oliver Peoples glasses. By the way, you're always getting brand names of everything in here. So it's
Constantly.
Lewis will be like, where did you get that? There's a great scene where he's like got a dead body in an overnight bag and he's putting it into the back of a cab. And then Lewis, this closeted investment banker, is like, Patrick? And they stop and chat, and he's like, where did you get that overnight bag? And he's like, Jean-Paul Gaultier, and then just like whisks away in a cab.
Do we want to talk about Lewis and the kind of homosexual elephant in the room with this one?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the bathroom scene.
Yes. So Lewis is a investment banker who's kind of the nerd in the game. He's
the one who looks nothing like the other ones.
He's not as traditionally handsome as the other
He
actors.
dresses differently.
Yeah, and he is engaged to a woman that Patrick is fucking, and the woman is also Patrick's girlfriend, played by Reese Witherspoon's best friend. So it's all, it's a mess. But at some point, Lewis has a nicer business. There's all these great scenes of them like showing off their business cards. That were like, if someone's business card is nicer than Patrick's, he's sweating. He's really stressing out about it. And so there's a scene where Lewis gets a new business card, which is very, very nice. And Patrick puts on leather gloves and follows him into the men's room and is going to strangle him. But when he puts his hands around Lewis's neck, Lewis turns around and kisses Patrick's hand and is like, oh, I've wanted this for such a long time. He's like mistaken this interaction for lust. And we find out that he is, as assumed, gay and in love with Patrick. It's a really great scene. It reminded me of, the AIDS scare at the time, I feel like is part of the subtext. These men do use the F slur a lot in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, well, also the fact that, like, it's the only time Patrick Bateman shows quote-unquote mercy.
Yeah. Well, there's one other time with his assistant, Jean,
yeah.
Which is a great
scene. But it's like, typically in scenarios like this, you expect the gay panic defense to happen of, like, a man came on to me in a men's room. I had to kill him, Your Honor. Like, what other choice did I have? And instead, he still has a very homophobic response of, like, freaking out and being disgusted and leaving with, a good videotape defense. But, like, he doesn't murder him.
No.
He's so, like, disgusted and, like, rankled by the homophobia of it all that he can't follow through on the, like, act of murder, almost implicitly linking his murderous tendencies to a heterosexual sexual desire that has now been sullied by bringing homosexuality into the game.
Yeah.
It's a very, very odd scene.
It's like he's been caught off guard and he's like too shocked to kill almost.
Yeah.
It's really good. I just spoke of it, but his assistant is played by Chloe Sevigny. Her name is Jean. Really sweet character. And she's clearly in love with Patrick. He's awful to her. He tells her what to wear and how to dress. And then one day, who knows why, he invites her to dinner. He's just, I think, feeling vulnerable and lonely. And so she comes over to his house for drinks beforehand. And they're starting to flirt with each other, talking about their relationships or lack thereof. And then he just decides not to kill her. He literally has a nail gun to the back of her head, and something that she says makes him back out, and he tells her to go. And I just thought it was such an interesting scene because he said earlier that he has no emotions, no pity, no remorse, nothing but disgust and hatred. So I wondered why you thought he decided to let her go.
I think what we get at towards that point and towards the end of the movie is starting to see that, again, everything that we're shown at the beginning where he says that he has no emotions and this is all just a facade and this is a built version of him, that the idea that Patrick Bateman is just an idea and the idea that he has no emotions is actually the facade that's built. And that is starting to crack, and that the actual, like, human man underneath has been there the whole time and is starting to, like, feel a semblance of a conscience.
Yeah.
And because then we get into a very, like, Goodfellas-esque paranoia bit.
And that is the beginning of his like real downward spiral, like into the third act of the movie where he's really, really unraveling.
But what this movie does that I think is great, and I feel like it gets close to this at the end, it doesn't fully stick the landing for me, is that like this is not the way that Patrick Bateman is by like birth and by design. He's not like he exhibits sociopathic tendencies, and he probably is at this point a sociopath, but he was not born a sociopath. As he is feeling remorse and regret and paranoia, the world around him like expects him to be sociopathic Patrick Bateman and wants nothing else from him, and that is all he's expected to be. And there's a lot to be said about the way that capitalism treats human beings, the way that capitalism changes human beings, and the way that masculine identity in capitalist America is formed and like dulled down into a very specific form and shape and like model, which again falls into the like similarity identity crisis between him and Paul Allen. I feel like there's a lot in there that gets like brushed at with the end of this movie, but I feel like it's just a little too quick. I don't know. There's a lot of great ideas in the like final act of this movie that I feel like are just like, and we're done.
Well, I feel like it's an indictment of the culture, which you were just saying, but it feels to me like the culture wants Patrick Bateman to get away with this, and so he does. You know, like it's sort of like about his white male privilege and class privilege. You know, there's a brutal scene where he kills an unhoused man in an alleyway. It's probably, besides the sex worker chainsaw scene, it's probably the most upsetting scene where he's like ostensibly going to help this man, and the man starts crying. It's like, please, I'm really hungry and cold. And he like laughs at him and murders him and then kills his dog. For the doesthedogdie.com people.
Yes.
It's just so vicious. This is a vicious movie. It is very, very funny, but there are moments when it really hurts, and that's one of them.
There's a moment from the end of this movie that hit me really hard in a post-COVID late capitalism America, where the ATM is telling him to
feed it a cat.
Feed me a cat.
Yeah.
It just like that scene hit so close to the 2020, 2021 point of like, well, I don't care if there's COVID. We need to get back to work for the economy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you and your family members die as long as the economy keeps going.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, that's a pretty blunt, pretty like on the nose moment for that idea, which 22 years later is, that might be the other thing about this movie that like is very, very great, but why with time I watch this movie less is because like, Network and Idiocracy and it's handful of other things.
All of this.
It's gotten too prescient to the point of being like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when Heather seemed so preposterous. Like the idea of blowing up a school with people inside seemed like so silly, or kids bringing guns to school. And just 10 years later, it's like, oof, it's too on the nose. That is kind of how this feels. There's a really great, I think, chilling scene near the end of this where Patrick Bateman has been murdering people and storing bodies in Paul Allen's old apartment, and he goes to check in on the mayhem there and finds that it's been freshly painted and is now empty, and there's a broker who's trying to sell it, and she says, are you my 2 o'clock? And he's like, no, and they get to talking, and suddenly you can tell by her performance, which whoever she is, she's fantastic in that one scene, and you can tell that she knows who he is, and all she says is, don't cause any trouble, I think that you should leave, and he does, and that's it. But it's just like, I feel like it's a scene that someone might have cut, but it's just so classy and eerie. And again, it's just indicative of like, she's from the same economic social class as him. And so she's kind of like letting him go. He's a handsome young man who seems rich. So she's like, don't cause any trouble. Just get out of here. And it's probably my favorite scene in the movie, to be honest.
It's so fucking powerful.
Yeah.
As we get to the end of our conversation, I want to bring up one unsung element of this movie and its production. Someone that does not get a lot of talk, but is someone who is responsible for a glut of the best movies ever made.
Okay.
And that is this film's producer, Edward R. Pressman.
Okay, tell me about him.
Who, if you've ever watched a movie and been like, that was good, and then you saw his name in the credits, yeah, he's fucking incredible, and he has a streak of greenlighting and championing very odd and like auteur-driven projects that seem like they wouldn't work until the right director and teams attached to them. So he produced American Psycho, but he also produced The Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh my god.
He produced Brian De Palma's Sisters.
Whoa.
He produced Badlands.
Oh my god.
He produced The Crow, Wall Street, Bad Lieutenant,
Holy shit.
Conan the Barbarian,
Oh my god.
David Byrne's True Stories,
Love.
Alex Cox's Walker,
Jeez.
David Mamet's Homicide, Talk Radio. He produced Reversal of Fortune. He produced Old Boyfriends. He produced Sam Raimi's Crime Wave. He produced To Sleep with Anger. Just like, he produced Das Boot.
Oh my god, what a career.
Just like, he's still alive. He is one of the most prolific and exceptional film producers in the world, championing very out there projects, a lot of female filmmakers, and a lot of very politically minded, incredible films. And he does not get enough praise. I think he does a really, really great job of putting projects together and getting movies that, again, like American Psycho, would not be as great if they didn't have the writing, producing teams that they had to put them together, and the trust to allow them to be the movies that they needed to be and not be watered down by the studio system at the time.
We've shouted at him, and you shouted at the screenwriter earlier. We should also shout out Mary Harron, who's such a great director. She directed this tragically kind of lost movie before this called I Shot Andy Warhol, starring Lily Taylor as Valerie Solanas. And I watched it like all the time in high school. I had the VHS of that, and I would watch it with Basquiat starring Jeffrey Wright, so I could get a fix of like vintage New York Andy Warhol scene. So if you can find I Shot Andy Warhol on like a used DVD or something, it's really worth it. It's really fantastic movie. And she's great. What a great director.
She's incredible. It's really not fair that we haven't gotten more projects from her.
No.
She did a few movies recently. She did a Charles Manson movie of late, and she did Alias Grace, a Canadian production a few years ago, but not much else, and I would love to see more from her. Yeah,
she's really good. Shall we play Have They Seen It, where we discuss whether notable figures have seen this movie or not?
Let's do.
Okay. I have somebody. This is a person who's mentioned in the movie, but indirectly. So I have a bit of interesting New York trivia for you. They talk about a club called Nell's, which was real. It was on 14th Street. And the Nell in question is Little Nell of Rocky Horror Picture Show and Shock Treatment, who, after those movies, is most famous for being the owner and operator of Nell's on 14th Street.
Really? I didn't know that. God damn, good for her.
Nell, yeah. And she also, I know, lived in a brownstone in like Fort Greene or Clinton Hill in Brooklyn, which she sold to Heath Ledger and Michelle Williams when they were married. So I wonder if they found like pink Little Nell hairs around their brownstone when they moved in. R.I.P. Heath Ledger. So I just want to know, has Little Nell, aka Nell Campbell, ever seen American Psycho?
I think she absolutely has. I think this is a big enough cult film that she may have not seen it in 2000, but she definitely probably would have seen it in the intervening years. And I think she's definitely seen it, and she probably got a real big kick out of getting that name drop.
Yeah, I mean, the name of that is in the book, too, I believe. So it's little wonder that it's in the movie.
So we mentioned this movie has just a fucking stellar cast, from a young Reese Witherspoon, like election era Reese Witherspoon, post Fight Club Jared Leto, again in the only good phase of Jared Leto's career, which is getting had the shit kicked out of him or murdered or both. Like the only kind of Jared Leto I want to see. I don't want fucking Morbid Time. I want that.
Yeah.
If he has to be in anything at all, because he's a fucking monster. But we also get Justin Theroux, who is one of my favorite actors. He is my mom's like lifetime crush. Understandable. This was made in 2000, so it would have been right after Justin Theroux had been filming in Los Angeles for the pilot of the TV show that would have been Mulholland Drive, but before he was brought back to do the reshoots to make it into the film Mulholland Drive.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you think that Mulholland Drive, Auteur, and absolute genius madman that we love so very much, David Lynch, has seen American Psycho?
I don't think so, because he doesn't watch movies.
No, he does not.
All he does is like transcendental meditation and like record those weird daily weather videos for YouTube, which he wasn't doing.
He
in
makes
2000, but
He makes his little sculptures and he makes his little paintings. He was probably busy working on writing, Ronnie Rocket Draft 47 at the time.
But if he had, I honestly don't think he would like it.
I don't think so either. I feel like it would be too violent for him, which is insane considering his movies. But I don't think he likes things like that.
I don't think so either.
And I think it would be too cynical for him. And I don't feel like he would connect with the humor or that aspect of the 1980s.
Yeah, I agree.
Those like commentaries on yuppie society of the 1980s just I think passed him by entirely.
I think so too.
I don't think he'd enjoy it.
My mom said that about the 80s. When I got really into 80s music, I was like, do you know this? And she was like, no, I don't remember a single thing about the 80s because I was a single mom with 3 small kids and I was really poor. And I just like, not a single thing about that decade sticks out to me, which like fair,
That's my mom's response to the 1990s. She's just like, I heard songs on the radio. That was it. I didn't get to see any movies.
Yeah, totally. You gotta understand that. I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
So Chloe Sevigny is in this, and her first movie, her breakout hit was the movie Kids. And that movie also starred someone else who's famous in their first role, Rosario Dawson. Do you think Rosario Dawson has seen American Psycho?
I think Rosario Dawson has seen American Psycho. I'm sure. It's a big enough movie. But I also just want to say I fucking hate Rosario Dawson.
You do? I was just about to ask you how you felt about her. I don't really know anything about her. Why do you hate her?
Well, she, let me just like pull up reference for this so I'm not like...
I will say while you're looking that up, I really hate the movie Kids. I saw it when it came out in the theater. I was 14 years old and I made my mom take me to see Kids because it was NC-17. So I watched Kids with my mom at the theater in Seattle and it was the most excruciating experience of my entire life. And I also just think it's a bad movie and disgusting and I hate it.
I still haven't seen Kids. One day I will, but it seems like something I won't enjoy.
It's not enjoyable.
Yeah, I strongly dislike Rosario Dawson. I don't know if this is something that you or listeners are familiar with, but a few years ago, she had a personal assistant that she hired to move out from New York to Los Angeles to work with her and her family out here. Around that time, that personal assistant came out as a transgender male individual, and was then treated very, very poorly by Rosario Dawson and her family, and was then physically assaulted by Rosario Dawson and her family, and eventually sued them. I don't like Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she sucks. Yikes, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
That's awful.
So, not a fan.
Well, let's change
Probably won't see Kids. Well, speaking of Chloe Sevigny, though, and Chloe Sevigny's work pre-American Psycho, Chloe Sevigny also did another movie around this time, in the late 1990s, that was about the 1980s, and it was about New York City's nightlife scene and yuppie club scene. A lovely little movie called The Last Days of Disco.
Love that movie.
Which I love. If American Psycho is about how 1980s yuppies were the worst people on earth, then The Last Day of Disco is about how the 1980s yuppies were actually like kind of sweet, dumb individuals who just wanted to dance to Soul Train on the L Train. I love that movie. I think it's
a great movie.
A fucking delight. Do you think that movie's writer and director Whit Stillman has ever seen American Psycho.
I actually don't know anything about Whit Stillman, including their gender from that name. I don't know anything about Whit Stillman.
He's a man. He also made Metropolitan. He made Barcelona, Love and Friendship. Very like
I've never seen
dry
any of
wit.
those except for Last Days of Disco, which I love.
You would love his other movies. They're very like ode to New York City at that time, and and like making fun of that group of people. You would also love Barcelona, as you've been like traveling through movies about Spain.
Yeah, I'll check them out. Based on Last Days of Disco, though, and the era at which this director was working, I would guess yeah. And I think they like American Psycho.
I feel like he's probably seen.
Why did I say
I
that?
feel like he's seen American Psycho. I don't know if he enjoys American Psycho, but I'm sure he's definitely seen it. Whit, if you're listening, reach out.
Yeah,
love
we
your
wanna
stuff.
Know. Yeah.
Whit Stillman, what do you think about American Psycho? Go.
Look at that.
And then we'll put in the audio clip of him responding right now.
We didn't talk about Bret Easton Ellis at all, and I think that's fine.
I also think that's fine.
Yeah. Listen, that's it for this episode. If you liked it, please rate it on all of the things where you listen to podcasts. You can follow us at Bloodhouse Pod, email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Drusilla, where do people find you these days?
I, along with my artwork, reside at a little domain called sisterhydedesign.com, and I am on the Instagrams at Hyde Sister, HYDESISTER. And I'm also on Letterboxd at Drusilla Adeline. I'm over there. You can see what I'm watching and see my little lists and reviews and stuff like that. It's a good time. What about you, Josh? Where do you lurk on Elon Musk's internet?
I'm on Elon Musk's Twitter at Joshua Conkle. I'm on Instagram at the same, and Letterboxd at Joshua Conkle as well. Now, back to business. What are we watching? We're going back to our very first episode, kind of. What are we watching next week?
We are returning to jolly old England, to one of the greatest genre filmmakers and art house filmmakers of all time, Ken Russell, and one of the greatest horror authors of all time, Bram Stoker. We are taking a trip down into the lair of the White Worm.
Truly cannot wait. Okay, bye.